Now. Now.
I was trying to act like I was frozen. It's all good. Here we are. Season 2, episode 40. By God, 6. We're rocking and rolling, folks. And, it's a great cocktail night tonight. Let me just tell you. Look, this is a surefire. You're not gambling with this drink tonight, folks. This is a surefire hit. You're going to love it. We're going Jack Rose quarantine cocktail style. Jack Rose? Don't even know it. This is a staple cocktail. Most people don't know about it. But there's actually one of the cocktail books written, How to Mix Cocktails. One of the first cocktail books written. There were 9 cocktails that they said you had to know. This was one of them. And we're doing it tonight, quarantine style. Come on, here we go. Jack Rose in the house. Blue Monkey Quarantina. Only business. Monkey business. I tell you, this is a good one. Now, you know how we start off. First, I tell you, what is the name? The Jack Rose. Where did they come from? What's the name and all that? Folks, there's a laundry list of stories about the name and who invented it. Let's start off with this one. Jack Rosenweel. So Jack Rosenweel was actually a mobster, all right? AKA Bald Jack Rose. Yeah, that's what he was known as. And people actually give him credit for this cocktail, the Jack Rose, makes sense. And he's got a great little story behind him because, again, he was a mobster, was said to love drinking the AppleJack, star of the show tonight. We'll talk about that later. And he actually was well known because somebody had killed a cop. Bald Jack Rose turned state's evidence and framed the other guy who went to jail, actually was electrocuted, electric chair and all that. And Bald Jack Rose kind of became a little bit of a celebrity. Here's the problem. Jack Rose was a little bit after the drink was actually really popular, so that's probably not it. Story number 2. We're going to go with Frank May. Frank May, he's a bartender in Jersey. By the way, all these stories, they're all in Jersey. But he's a bartender in Jersey City. Now this guy's good, right? 1905, he puts an ad in a newspaper, and here's what he says. The ad says, "My nickname is Jack Rose, and I invented the drink, the Jack Rose, after myself." God bless you, man. That is some solid notoriety, self-notoriety. So the problem with that is that if you go back to 1899, we've got Frank Hayes. Yeah, these names, I know. So Frank Hayes, in 1899, another bartender. Well, here's the problem. There was an article in the newspaper, and during the interview, they are sitting at his bar, and they are drinking what? The Jack Rose, 6 years before the other story, the ad comes out. So a lot of people will give it to Frank Hayes. Now, we got one more. We have Joseph Rose. Yeah. Now, this one, of all the ones, this actually seems legit. Joseph Rose. And he's a bartender, but he's not just any bartender. No. At one point in time, he held title as the world champion mixologist. And he claims that he invented it. Now, I'll give you the last one. The 5th one. Yeah, 5 different stories of where this drink came from. It's just the simplest name to do it. The Jack Rose. The main ingredient is AppleJack. Shorthand, Jack. And guess what color this drink is when we get done tonight? Rose colored. It's just the Jack Rose. Who knows? There's a lot of stories. This is a very popular drink. Literary notations to it. My man crush, Ernest Hemingway. Yeah, this made one of his novels. The Sun Also Rises. Yeah, this actually appears a few times in The Sun Also Rises. specifically our hero, Jack Barnes, when he is waiting for Lady Ashley in one of the scenes, chapters, and she basically never shows up. He is sitting there basically drinking away at his Jack Rose, which is vividly described by Ernest Hemingway. So Ernest Hemingway was a huge fan of the Jack Rose. So what is it? What is the Jack Rose? Paul never heard of it. And you keep pointing to this AppleJack. What is AppleJack? If I told you AppleJack was probably if I told you AppleJack was the most popular spirit in the U.S. at one point, you probably wouldn't believe me. If I told you that this is actually the oldest spirit in the U.S., this is more American than apple pie. First of all, what is it? So AppleJack, here's how they make it. All right, so back in the day, Johnny Appleseed days, right? They had all these apples. They weren't making applesauce and apple pies all the time. No, they were making cider. And they weren't just making apple juice, apple cider. They were making hard cider. And they would have barrels of it. Well, here's where it got fun. They would take already distilled apple cider. So it's already got some meat to it, right? Nice hard cider, delicious. Well, they would leave some of it in a barrel intentionally when it got cold so it would freeze. But here's what would happen. The water part of it would freeze on top. They would take that ice off and throw it away. And what it would do is it would leave the concentrated part of the alcohol. So this is actually called Jack distilling. This is an actual method. It's AKA jacking. AppleJack is basically a double distilled cider. Imagine making whiskey out of apples. That's what you got right here. And then taking that warm whiskey, apple brandy is basically what it is, and then just putting a blanket on you with it. It's just delicious warmness. So I'm telling you, no lie, this was the first alcohol in the U.S. that was really ever made and produced. 1780. How do I know? So 1780, Laird's, this is the maker. They still make it. They're in Jersey. They still make it. It's the oldest distillery to this day in the U.S. Longest run distillery in the U.S. Still to this day. Again, 1780. It says right on the back of the bottle. Let me tell you some other history right here, just to tell you how popular this stuff was. George Washington, President George Washington, actually asked the Laird's family for the recipe so he could make his own AppleJack. And they gave it to him. To this day, the Laird's family say the only person outside of their family that knows the recipe was George Washington. Abraham Lincoln. This is a presidential drink. Abraham Lincoln, when he wasn't killing vampires, right? He was actually a bartender. Now, the vampire thing may not be true, but a lot of people don't know this. Abraham Lincoln is the only president who was a licensed bartender. True story. He actually owned a tavern before he became president. And in that tavern, he served, AppleJack. You know he did. 12.5 cents for a pint. That's some hardcore drinking back in the day, folks. So, anyway, we got nothing but great history. It's a great drink. If you're going to get it, get Laird's. There are others, but this is the one you want to get. Now, here's the beauty of it. This is actually a pretty simple drink. First of all, ice up a couple cocktail glasses. And then, get ready. Drop a cube. Good luck. All right, here we go. So, take your AppleJack. Now, they've got different versions of this. The 86 is a little more of their traditional one. They actually also make a bonded version. Remember, if it's bonded, that means it's 100% alcohol, 100 proof. 100% alcohol, 50 proof. Just trust me, it's strong. Right here, we're going to go with this one. We're 86 proof, not 100 proof. 40, but this is a good one. Mimics your original recipe. 2 ounces per, one for Shelby. You can smell the hint. You can smell the apples. It's delicious. Then grenadine, for God's sakes, don't buy that stuff in a jar. Don't get that, roses grenadine. Make your own. Remember, it's pomegranate and sugar just kind of boiled down. You need a recipe, just hit me up, I'll tell you. So 3/4 ounces per. Don't be shy on the grenadine on this one. This is basically it, and it really does make it. Some people will actually up it. Now, the only other thing we need in here, a little bit of juice. Originally, so if you look up recipe now, you'll see some people go lemon, some people go lime, right? It's like this whole Sprite, what is it, lemon or lime? The original, he actually used both. So we're going to do both. We're going to go one each. One lime, one lemon per drink. You need about 3/4 to an ounce, which is going to be one fruit. So we'll just do half. You see it, I do half. I get one. It's too late in the day, right? I'll just make the damn drink. I got it. I'm making it. I'm doing it. There's our lime coming in. Beautiful lemon. Last thing, oddly enough, going way back, emergency. George Washington. Yeah, George Washington. He was a big proponent of this. A lot of people know the wooden teeth thing about George Washington. No, go to Mount Vernon. You'll see it. Packets of emergency everywhere. Yeah, and who knew? That's why he became president. This was actually, emergency sponsored his election campaign. Yeah, vote George Washington. Emergency. Well, they don't sponsor us, but we still love you. Emergency. A little sprinkle in there. We're good. And then, folks, that's it. We're shaking it up. We got fruit. Gotta shake it. Get it cold. The Jack Rose. Who knew? Get rid of the ice. And then, beautiful strain. Notice the color? Yeah. Is that not gorgeous?
Smells good.
Yeah, can you get it? The whiff, just this waft of apple. You can garnish. Knife. We're gonna go, I don't know if this is gonna work. Yes. Floating an apple on it. And then just for a little fun, we're also gonna put just a little lemon hit on both of these. And give it a little spritz. And drop that right down on the inside. Over here. There it is. Quarantine. Jack Rose cocktail. Is it delicious? It's got an apple in it. You can smell it right up front. So that is great. Tart, like an apple pie, kind of a little smucker of tartness, and but mellows out, right? Nice acidity from the citrus. That is an easy drink. And it's got that warm cider feeling to it, you can feel it. That's a new favorite. Now, got to share the last thing with you. I got to tell you, when I was pulling up the Jack Rose and I learned all about AppleJack, I thought to myself, for God's sakes, there has got to be a damn tie to AppleJack cereal. Come on, right? There had to be. I was like, there had to be some crazy, drunk guy working at Kellogg's who's drinking AppleJack, and they're like, you better get us a damn cereal, mate, or you're going to get fired. And he's like, I'll give you a cereal. I've got AppleJacks for you. I don't know. It wasn't there. Now I can tell you about AppleJacks because I've learned. So AppleJacks, funny story, started off, they were called Apple O's, invented in 1965. Funny part, William Tilley is the guy who invented Apple O's. Apple O's, that's what they were originally. How did he get his job? Kellogg's decided they want a engineer from MIT. It was like, we had to have one, we need it, we need the notoriety, something, whatever. So they try to find somebody from college who wants to come work for him. William Tilley, they meet him, boom, they love him, they hire him. Side note, he's the only one who applied for the job. Yeah, Kellogg's wanted somebody, he was it. That was the only one. So they hire him, bring him in, he does his intern, and then he comes on full time. As a bonus, they let him work with somebody to create his own product. He wants to make a cereal, and he wants to do it with apples, because where he grew up, apples were everything, and he said, everything's better with apples. He really said that. So they sit down, and they come up with Apple O's, the cereal which later changed the names to AppleJacks. That's all I can tell you. Different. However, as different as they are, let me just try something on you. A is for apple. J is for Jack. Cinnamon toasty AppleJacks. You need a good breakfast. That's a fact. Started off with AppleJack. I think it works. Oh, this. Folks, that's my new cereal. Breakfast of Champs. AppleJacks. Put it in a bowl, no milk needed. Folks, there you go. You have been apple humped on your Wednesday. I don't know what that is, but if an apple a day keeps the doctor away, an apple hump a day has gotta keep the doctor away. Although, if there's too many apple humps, I'm thinking maybe you might end up needing it. No, never mind. It's, you know what, it's Wednesday, here we are. Folks, cheers. Go get yourself a quarantine Jack Roast. Get a bottle of AppleJack. This stuff's delish. Good night. Love you. See you Wednesday.
Sunday.
God darn it. Sunday. See ya.